Oh, here we go.
Welcome to Lunchtime Live, everybody. I'm Leslie.
I'm Shannon.
Hello.
Hello.
we were dancing to the intro like you do the whole time. And I was like, I should really make a Shannon intro. I should do that.
I'm around now.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, I'll be on next week too.
Yay! I'm so excited. Well, good.
It's on vacation.
It's on vacation for the next 2 episodes of this. We're very glad to welcome you back. I know we had like an episode and then it was MLK Day and now we are back, but we're back for the next foreseeable few weeks. So we're glad to join you guys. Just checking things out. Hello. Say hi in the comments if you're here live. I know a lot of our friends catch us after the fact and we're so glad and grateful that you do.
Yes.
So speaking of catching things after the fact or catching things live, that's my attempt at a segue. Shannon, what do you have up your sleeve?
Starting this Thursday, we're going to do Thursday Connections on Instagram Live. So if you've got an Instagram account or if you want to start an Instagram account before Thursday, follow Roundhill Media. And then at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go live for 10 minutes. And we're going to kind of each week do a little bit of looking at spiritual disciplines. I'm going to lead. It'll be a very practical thing. I'll lead in a prayer. I may lead in a guided meditation.
Love that.
I may read a little something and just kind of think about it. But it'll be something that will get you connected more deeply spiritually. And then it'll be saved on the Instagram page, which is how those are done. And you can look at it at any time. You can tell your friends about it. We'd love to up our viewership, right?
For sure.
So we're going to start. Yeah.
But
we already have an Instagram account, so you can go on to Roundhill Media.
We do have an Instagram account. We've had it for a while. It is active. So we're at Roundhill Media. Same title as our YouTube account, which is where you are right now. So there's YouTube, there's Instagram, all at Roundhill
It may sound
Media.
scary and overwhelming for some people, but it's really not. It's very
so
simple.
fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I've been trying to get my mom on Instagram. I've been trying to get her to come because she isn't loving Facebook, which I'm fully in agreement on. But I find Instagram I much prefer Instagram.
And
I really like it.
I'm on the lower end of boomers, and so that we didn't grow up with Instagram, so just being part of that.
I mean, you didn't grow up with Facebook either.
Well, that's true, but it's easier to get into Facebook as a user.
Yes.
But tell people what Instagram is. I mean,
so the easiest way I like to describe Instagram is that it's Facebook with just the good bits, which is Facebook with the pictures.
Just pictures, right?
Just
and maybe
pictures.
A comment or something.
And like a caption, right? But it's very photo-based. And they added some other features along the way, which are really fun too. I really enjoy the stories aspect of it, which are live and not live, but they're like time limited. So they're just today's stuff. But I really like it. I like that it's, you can really shape it, like I felt like, so my freshman year of college. So Facebook used to be just Ivy League for a while. And then they opened it up to all colleges. The year they opened it up to all colleges was my freshman year of college.
Wow.
So I literally was like, oh, we're doing Facebook now. Okay, what is this thing? And you had to have a college email address.
Interesting.
To sign up for Facebook.
Getting a little fun facts about Facebook.
Fun facts. And then when they decided that our parents could join.
That would be my age group.
I mean, close. Yeah, rough.
I am old enough to be your mom, I think.
When the boomers decided to invade Facebook, we all panicked, deleted as much as we could. But it really used to be like a very generational thing.
And then younger people said, no, our parents are on and I'm not.
Yeah, and then like the younger kids joined and then the parents joined and we're like, oh, okay, so this has changed. Which is very interesting. And so it's very people based. I will say it's very like you see your friend from college and your colleague from here and your person from here and your person from here. Yeah. I used to have a policy that I would not friend someone on Facebook unless I'd actually met them in person.
Well, now that's out the window. Right?
Yeah, that went out the window a couple years ago.
I have 1,900 followers on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm somewhere around there. Yeah. I mean, it's just because the friend of the friend of the friend of the friend of the friend. And when I got involved in AGO national leadership,
Yes.
And
mine's from news media and high school and different churches and clergy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Facebook to me is very much like the web of people.
Yeah.
Right. Instagram to me is more like a curated kind of media thing. And so I consume Instagram in more of a similar way to I'd say I consume YouTube. Okay. It's not there. I have some really wonderful friends on there who are active on there. It's a great way to see like your friends' babies, and what their families are doing. But I follow like some body positivity accounts. Okay. That are really beautiful. Lots of baking accounts from my baking days. And kind of stuff like that. So I really follow accounts of people who are talking about things I'm interested in.
There you go. All right.
And so I find it I have curated in a way that's very educational for me. There's a lot of home decor accounts. A couple of years ago, there was a lot of really great discussion happening on Instagram about how interior designers of color were being kind of ignored. And I was a designer I respect very much put a whole list of designers of color. So I was able to follow all these other women and get a really interesting other perspective. So I like Instagram for giving me a different perspective on topics that I'm already interested in. Okay. That's how I use Instagram.
So I found out about it really and started doing it when some of you know I'm training to be a teacher at the Hoffman Institute, which you can follow. Anybody can go in. But we do, as a teacher trainee, we do Instagram lives twice a day. Mm-hmm. So in the morning, they do a little exercise that gets you in touch with your emotional self, your intellectual self, your body, and your spiritual self, just to kind of check in on our what they call a quadrinity. Yeah. And in the evening, there's a daily appreciation and gratitude exercise, which focuses on in a 10-minute thing. That's kind of how I got this 10-minute deal going. Of thinking about 3 things you appreciate about yourself, and then 3 things for which you're grateful in your life. And the appreciation is more internally focused. Gratitude is more externally focused for what you're grateful for. Yeah. And just doing those practices on a regular basis has deepened my spiritual life and kind of it's been a positive influence, right? Because it's exercising that muscle. That's what we just talked about on the podcast. Spiritual practices and spiritual discipline.
I love that connectivity that it allows. Apologies for being on my phone just now. I got a text from an AGO person being like, "We're on a Zoom for National Council. Are you coming?" And I was like, "No, I'm doing my weekly live stream like I told you. This takes priority." So thank you. Also, thank you for getting me out of that meeting. So I'm kidding, of course. I love my National Council. They're wonderful. So hopefully that gives people kind of an idea of Instagram. It's very friendly. It's been around for a long time. Facebook now owns it. So I think you can you might be able to use your Facebook login for Instagram.
Oh, interesting. I don't know enough. So. If you need help, let us know too, and we can help you get on or start it. Yeah.
So that starts Thursday at 9.
But you can go on anytime after that and look, or you can look at, the next week. You can look at the previous weeks or whatever. So.
And just make sure you follow us on Instagram at Round Hill Media.
Right. All one word. Tell your friends about this too and the podcast.
We got all sorts of good stuff. What I really like is that we kind of have a little something every day to keep you, to hopefully connect with you during the week. Because I think, it's so easy when we have church for an hour, 45 minutes on a Sunday, and then it kind of like real life starts and the real world starts. Right. That you can feel really disconnected. And by the time Sunday rolls around, you've like lived a whole other world. And it's sort of kind of that tug versus the idea of just like a little something to keep us connected and grounded and centered in our community. So Sunday we have church, which you can do in person or online. Mm-hmm. Monday we have this live stream. Tuesday is our podcast. Wednesday, we have our wonderful, we call it the e-blast around here. I don't know what you guys call it. It's an email newsletter. If you're not signed up for that, I highly recommend it. You can sign up on our website, roundhillcommunitychurch.org. And as part of that, there's a what's happening video
section.
We're still working on the branding for that. But it's basically like here's the headline news from Round Hill this week, which is a great way to get the updates, get the news. Our amazing colleague Tanya puts so much love and heart into the email newsletter. That's just a beautiful job every week. So there's lots of ways to sort of stay connected with us, see what's going on, because we want to communicate as much as we can, all the awesome stuff that's happening around here. And now we're going to have Thursday connections.
And if you have children in the church school, there's another e-blast that goes out to the church school.
Yes.
Tanya and Lizzie put out.
Yeah. And so it's just, little ways to connect in different ways.
And this is, a lot of, I will say a lot of younger people do use Instagram. So it's focus on that, get more viewership. Just kind of trying to touch people where they are in different spaces.
For sure. I'm really glad you're doing this.
Thank you.
I had been wanting to do stuff on stories for here, and I just haven't quite worked up the
when I'm away, you're welcome to do it.
Oh, no, it's okay. Not Instagram Live. That's maybe not my jam. I like the idea of stories. So Instagram stories is like little clips and snippets where people will like share something from the day or whatever, and it only lasts for 24 hours. So it's only on there for 24 hours. So I like the idea of that. My insecurity likes the idea of that, I think, is probably what it is. Of like, if I do something really stupid, it will go away.
But these don't, right?
The lives stay. Yes, so that the pros among us can do those. I'm excited for this. I'm so excited. I'm excited. Selfishly, I have nothing to do with it. And you're just taking it and running it, and you had an idea, and I think it's gonna be so great.
We'll see. We'll test it out and see if nobody wants to do it, then that's okay too. We're trying something new, right?
A fun thing I've experienced with Instagram Live is doing if you do a live Peloton ride, a lot of times the instructors will then hop on Instagram after to like be like, well, sorry, that was tough, or like just have a little conversation about whatever they were talking about during my Peloton-y.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You are?
Oh, I've fully chugged the Kool-Aid.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're learning new fun facts about Leslie.
Oh yeah. Hardcore podcast listeners will hear me mention it from time to time. I've gone full. I'm a full. Yeah. I have a 56-week streak.
What? That's amazing. I'm a long distance cyclist outdoors. I have been. Yeah, but I haven't done it. Yeah, no, I haven't done it for a while. I used to do 100-mile bike rides.
I did a century around Lake Tahoe.
See, not everybody knows what a century is. So that's
we're bonding
there
people.
You go.
Look at that, so fun. We're gonna we can make this an entire live stream just about cycling.
There's something very cool about the long distance cycling community.
It's amazing.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of people who are recovering from heart surgeries and things get into cycling.
So good for cardiovascular health.
Great for your body too, and your mind.
Yeah. I ended up getting a Peloton because I've been trying my whole life to find exercise I didn't hate. And I was sitting down, COVID, was sitting down and I was like, why? Wait, I love cycling. I've loved cycling forever. But the problem is really kind of around our house. It was great when I was living in, I had a little house rental in East Norwalk when I was working in that church in Westport. And I could literally go out of my house and I had like a 12-mile loop. Yes. Which is a perfect little easy.
With hills?
A couple. It was just like
Love
great.
Hills.
Love hills. It was just like a little easy, like great little loop just to like get your body moving and enjoy it. And then I really don't have that quite here. And so you just sort of like put your bike in your car and that's always kind of the hurdle to me to do that. And obviously Peloton has been quite a thing during COVID. So I thought, what?
I'm really proud of you.
I'm kind of into it. So that's been...
It's a whole thing.
It's been a whole thing. It's been wonderful. It's been so good. And they have great strength classes, great yoga classes. I've actually at night been doing their guided meditations, which are very good. So I was shocked at how many different
They're trying
facets.
to appeal to a whole different crowd.
Yeah. But I mean, the yoga is some of the best yoga I've ever done.
Okay. And
that's saying something. Yeah. And the meditations are extremely good. And the strength classes are extremely good.
So we're an ad for Peloton.
Yeah. Buy a Peloton. Join me. Hi. Yeah. But I was actually going to talk about guided meditation because you were talking about that with your Instagram Live. And I really, sometimes I feel I wanted to get your thoughts on guided meditations because I kind of feel like I'm cheating.
Why?
Well, I had a meditation teacher sort of lovingly and gently discourage guided meditations.
Because
I think her approach was that it's perhaps more helpful. I don't want to misquote her, but is more helpful to fully go within yourself and not have an external factor.
I think people, though, learn in different ways, and sometimes you need an image provided for you. Some
Yeah.
people do. They learn better that way.
Yeah.
Some people can come up with their own images.
Sure.
But you can also help in guided meditation. You can help people kind of go off on their own path, even within a guided meditation.
Sure.
Like, who's coming to you now, right? Or imagine them, imagine what they're saying to you so that it's not fully scripted. But there are advantages and disadvantages, and it depends on your personality type.
Yeah. I find at night, sometimes I have a really hard time going to sleep because my mind is just like all the things.
So hard to slow down, right?
Yeah. And guided meditation for me has been so helpful with just like giving that chatterbox something to listen to and focus on, but not look at.
Yes.
I don't have to be looking at my phone. I have it over there and I can listen to it and it gives me something to focus on that is really like soothing and lovely.
There's so many different ways to get into meditation. And, whether it's Eastern or Western spiritualities. I mean, Thich Nhat Hanh just died, right? And we should do a whole thing on him sometime.
Yeah, that'd be good.
His Buddhist teachings. But I find sometimes if I'm not into the image stuff that I will take just a small chunk, a small mantra. It may be even a line from scripture. There's a passage in Isaiah, "You are mine, I love you." And just imagine God saying that to me and just going over and over and just experiencing it kind of resting in me in a deeper way. It can be quite powerful.
Yeah.
But to quiet our minds, that takes discipline. We talked about that, spiritual disciplines, and how discipline can feel like a naughty word sometimes because it was used on us. But how it can also be like training, right? Focusing on the aspect of it as training your mind to calm down. And, in this time when so much is put on us and our minds are going so fast, just to kind of drop in, hear, experience what's going on inside of us, and be open to how God wants to move in and through us.
I always wonder if there's like an element of like that kind of like when things start to get, anxious or stressed or worry. I wonder if there's an element of the body that feels like it's in like sort of fight or flight mode.
Sure.
And just reminding yourself that you are safe and you are, that you are in a space where you can relax.
Right.
Because sometimes it feels like everything is so out of control.
Well, that's where self-compassion comes in too, right?
Right.
This is a tense time. Just calming yourself down, soothing yourself. But there's a one, for anybody that's experienced trauma, which, hello, with all of us, we're in a trauma-laden time in COVID. It rests differently in us. But there's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score out of Harvard Medical School. The author is a professor there. And he talks about how our bodies store traumas. And that when we quiet down, sometimes those will come to the surface. The traumas will. So we have to be kind of we talked about curiosity, have a beat to say, that's interesting. And then work on the traumas that are stored in us. Because that's when we quiet down, sometimes that stuff will come up.
Yeah, for sure. It's such an interesting thing when you just, start and go, or I should say stop and go within.
Right.
That idea.
Maybe, my mother died a few months ago. And when I stop and really quiet down, sometimes I don't want to feel the grief of her still. But that's an important thing. And then once I feel that wave, then I can go deeper again.
There's a courage there, I feel like. Is that sometimes a barrier for people if they know deep down if they stop, it's going to bring up stuff that maybe is sometimes it takes courage. It takes courage, yes. And courage is of the core, right? The heart.
And sometimes it's a cultural thing to avoid pain.
Sure.
We don't want to feel pain. So we do a lot of things to keep from feeling pain. I know I do.
Sure.
I have my go-tos.
Oh, yeah.
But
Same
then
here.
when I'm courageous enough to stop and feel it, then I always feel better.
Yeah.
Because the emotional part of us needs expression too.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we can express that through, exercise and that kind of thing. But to genuinely feel what it is that's wanting to speak is important. And that's part of the spiritual life too.
Right. Yeah. And it's all those wonderful things you talked about in this week's podcast of Roundtail Radio.
That's a nice plug.
Well, you started it. Oh, it's just, it's, you could have an entire podcast series just about all these things.
Right.
And so I think I'm excited for you to really be bringing these elements into our sort of, I hate this phrase, but social media presence. Yeah. But it's bringing it to our community. It's sharing these thoughts on a steady weekly basis.
Well, and one of the things that we talked about in the podcast is that progressive Christianity doesn't often talk about spiritual disciplines. We're into social action and connection with community, but growing spiritually and deepening our spiritual lives is really important. And it's a way, God has always wanted to communicate with you and with me. And that if we stop long enough and train ourselves to make space for that, it will come. That's the thing. Oh my gosh, what will that look like? Well, that's what we'll find out. That's it's not us trying to be more spiritual. It's stopping and creating a space enough for God to well up from within.
Yeah. That's a really important distinction, isn't it?
Yeah. Because we as control freaks, I'm one of them, we want to do and make it happen.
Right.
But it's really allowing God to come to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today on Lunchtime Live, Shannon. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all for being here. If you're catching it live or after the fact, we're so grateful to you. And we will see you back here next week.